you tell if this team is ready and conditioned to play in the Heat?
Well, I felt like, really throughout this whole season, we've been practicing the right way. I felt like I mentioned the other day, probably one of the toughest training camps I've been through. And even now, we're still getting out there in the practice. So I think more than anything, it'll be a mindset thing for us. Can't really let the temperatures or the weather dictate, how we feel on Sunday.
So Coach Steve said that one of the things that's going to be a big challenge about this game is that the 49ers can come out with a different game plan based on the opponent. So you're going to have to be able to watch them the first couple of series and see what they're doing. How much of that falls on you as a player to be able to identify what the 49ers doing differently maybe than what you've seen on film?
Yeah, I think, ultimately, you try to go out there, really the first 15 plays, try to get a pulse of what they like to do. I think personally, ultimately, they're going to do what they've been doing, which is, they do a lot of motioning, a lot of window dressing. They move a lot of guys around. And all of that is really to get a certain leverage on you. So if we could ID certain guys in certain formations, we understand the possibilities of what could happen on any particular play.
What does George Kittle bring to the game? Great question. What does George Kittle, what kind of challenges does he present?
Yeah, when I watch him, I see a team that can obviously run the ball really well, but I think he adds a different element to their offense, physicality, more so an attitude, right, that he plays with. He seems like he's having a ball, every ball game. So it'd be important for me, myself, guys like Dan to kind of match that energy and just compete, right? Like, it's treat this like any other ball game, and whoever lines up in front of you is about, beating a man on man.
Tyrann, have you played against him before, and does he remind you of anybody at that position that you played against this year?
I have not. I had an opportunity to practice against them last year for a joint practice when I was in Houston. So, but I don't believe he practiced that week. So, no, I've never had a chance to play against him.
Do you remind you of anybody you played against at that spot this year?
No, I mean, he's an exceptional talent. They move him around. He runs routes from really all three positions. So they bunch him up, they stack him up, they try to get him free releases, they put him in the backfield. He's a big part of what they do. Concept-wise, it'd be important, like I said, for us to ID where he is, and if it's man-to-man, compete really at the highest level against him.
We talked about last week and just moments ago about the physicality, and of course being physical with Derrick Henry and Sunday's game was very important. But what type of physicality are you hoping to impose with their run game and their receivers Super Bowl Sunday?
Well, it'd be important to, obviously can't be too aggressive with some of the run schemes that they run. I think it's important to really just win your leverage, right? Understand where your help is. And I think in the back end, it'll be important for us to kind of fill alleys this next week, get involved in the run game. And like I said, the biggest thing, ID and formations. I think they move a lot of people around. It could confuse you. It has confused a lot of people. But at the end of the day, I think final formation, it'll really tell us a lot if we reading our keys the right way.
With the Niners changing things up so often, I'm sure your eyes are critical here. Will you do extra film study? Will you put in extra hours just so you'll be able to maybe figure out certain keys and so on and so forth this week?
Yeah, I think the offensive coordinator, head coach, do a good job of, making a lot of plays look the same, right? And they run a lot of different formations, out a lot of different personnel groups. I think at the end of the day, they like certain concepts. So, for me, it's about, I've been trusting myself all year. So, it's about me just believing in what I see. And, I think that has really allowed me to play at a high level.
How critical is it making that decision fast as opposed to getting caught maybe thinking and getting off balance?
Well, I think, different situations, require, really different thought processes. Obviously, I think early in the game, you want to get a pulse of what they're trying to do, keep everything in front of you. And then from there, it's just about playing aggressive ball, understanding what they like to do and, making plays on the football.
Tyrann,